So tonight's call. So we're going to follow tonight's call on from last week's call. And I'm going to finish off the prospecting system that we talked about last week that Rick had covered with us with those prospecting cards. Now, a bunch of people have been ordering them. There's been a flurry of people ordering cards. Has anyone actually got their new cards through yet? Anyone who's ordered within the last week? No. So just the people that already had them. Who already had the cards? Cello did, Dorte did, Simon did. Okay, right. Well, you saw the photos. You saw that Cello and I went out yesterday, so I'm going to tell you in a minute what happened when we went out. But let's start off with just a quick recap of what we talked about last week. So let's just click on here and share this. And no, you don't want to see that, do you? You don't want about tomorrow's Zoom. We're going to talk about tonight's call. So this is where we started with last week. We talked about going back to basics, and that's the wrong presentation. That's last week's presentation. We don't want that one. No, don't do that. Cancel it. Don't. That is what we started with. Yeah, this was last week's presentation. So when last week's presentation came on, we talked about Rick telling us we had to go back to basics and had to build a business, literally build. Who dropped something there? Was it Simon?
Yeah.
How to build $1 million business by handing out a simple marketing card. And last week we showed you exactly what the card was all about. And we showed people exactly what Rick said to people, quite literally talking to people, and said, I hand 60 of these cards out, just the way I've shown you, and the company pays me $6,000 US a year, or $60,000 payable monthly for the next 10 years, or $120,000 payable monthly for the next 20 years. Depends on how brave and how much belief you have in what you're saying. When you're putting it, it's amazing how people get timid when it starts putting big numbers in. People get shy about mentioning big numbers, but the fact is that that's what we're actually offering people. That's what we're paying people. So the card itself, that's the card, and you're meant to hand it out in a particular way. So the way we're meant to hand the card out is, first of all, get into a conversation with people. It was interesting going out with Cello yesterday and going into Warrington. And Cello's handed out a chunk of these cards in the past. But we've found, and Cello, I'm not sort of picking on you here or anything else, it was an interesting thing to say. Cello had been giving the cards out in the wrong way, and we know now what he'd been doing differently that wasn't getting the results that we expected. And to be honest with you, what Cello was doing is way braver than what I'm going to suggest you do, because Cello was literally stood there with cards in hand, waiting for people to walk down the street, walking across with a big smile on his face and handing the cards out. Now, I don't know about you, but when I walk down the street, if someone walks across with a card in their hand or a leaflet in their hand and they go to stop me, you know, it's either head down and you walk past and ignore them, or I just say, no thanks, mate, not interested, but you just keep going. You don't stop and talk to people. What Cello was doing, it takes some doing. I promise you, I know people that have done this for a living as in direct marketing, that have just been paid to go out and stop people to make appointments. And it's the hardest, toughest thing in the world to do. And I said, no, that's the hard way to do it, mate. It's the wrong way to go about doing it. Because what happens is those cards do get thrown away, because even if someone takes the card off you, they're not listening to you. They're just doing anything at all to get rid of you. So we only need to get Cello straight in what we do say with people. And in case anyone else has been doing the same thing or is thinking of going out and thinking that you do that way, it's not. These cards are a masterpiece of marketing, really. And Rick, you know, Rick's been doing this for 20 years. Rick has built massive businesses, not just Covera, other massive businesses using these cards as a system. and they're incredibly well thought out. But the whole thing starts with an ordinary conversation. They're designed to be used with family, friends, people you know, but they can be used with strangers as well. But in the first instance, we're going to talk about it. So what you do is you get into a conversation with someone, however it may be that you get into a conversation, whether it be that you're in a coffee shop or you're in a bar and you're talking to someone there, and you just get into a general conversation. One of the best questions that will get you into any conversation with anyone is asking them what they do for a living. And then you'll find out all about them. They'll tell you what they do, they'll tell you where they live, whether they're married, how many kids they've got, who they support, all sorts of stuff you really don't want to know about. But eventually, at some point in time, out of sheer politeness, they're going to turn around and they're going to say to you, what do you do? It's just human nature. They will ask you what you do. And at that point, you're in and you can start talking. And the answer is a very simple one, and this is Rick's answer, and it's on the screen for you right now. You just say, I do whatever you do, your normal job, but I've just started a part-time business, and I've gone into partnership with a really successful businessman. And I was just wondering, actually, if I could show you a way to make a chunk of extra money just using your phone with nothing to sell, would you want me to tell you about it, or would you prefer if I kept it a secret? And then leave it at that. Up to them then, no pressure whatsoever. Absolutely anyone can do that because the pressure is gone. If they turn around and say, not for you, well then you just turn around and say, that's great, don't worry about it. Carry on talking about anything else whatsoever. If, however, they ask you what it's all about, then you bring in your marketing card. So there's a picture of me in Warrington yesterday with the marketing card talking to the guy in Costa who'd just been serving us the coffee. And there is a right way and a wrong way to hand these cards over. And Rick gave us the masterclass of what you do. So literally, you hand the card over and you do not look at the person that you're talking to when you hand that card over. You have the card in one hand, as you can see me there, and the other finger pointing at the text on the card. And you simply say, a lot of people are making a lot of money just using this simple system. Dead easy. All you do, first of all, you go to profitfromyourmobile.com. And if you like what you see, just watch the video on there. Video's like 6-7 minutes. Once you've watched the video, if you like what you see, give me a ring. There's my number. And then you hand them a card. And at that point, they'll take the card off you. And you gently turn around and say, give me a ring if you like what you see. If you don't like what you see, don't worry about it. Just throw it away or pass it on to someone else. And it's the fact that you've said, just throw it away or pass it on to someone else that gives it the magic. It takes the pressure off it. And we were doing that all day yesterday. So the message is there. Once they've actually done that and they take that from you, you're going to get a follow-up call from them. Now, I like to try to arrange a call to follow someone up if I can do. So if I can arrange to follow someone up the day after and I've got a telephone number, great. If it's a complete stranger, you might not be able to do that. In that case, you're just going to wait for the phone call from them. When they phone you, if they phone you, the first question you ask is, have you seen the video? If they haven't seen the video, tell them to go and watch the video first. It's only going to take less than 10 minutes. Just watch the video. Once you've seen it, come back to me and tell me what you think. Once you've got that phone call back, you're then into this simple message for the sake of closing them. And all you want to say is, whenever I'm looking at something like this for myself, at this stage, I usually ask myself, am I a 1, a 2, or a 3? 1 means I like the product and I'd like to become a customer. 2 means love what I saw and I'd like to join the business or I become a customer. Or 3 means I'm just not interested. At this stage, Mary, I'm not bothered what you are, but at this stage, would you say you were a 1, 2, or 3? I really don't mind. I just want to know where you think you are. And they tell you what they are. If they say they're a 1, then you just, great, sign them up as a customer. If they say they're a 2, sign them up into the business, get them on a 3-way call with your sponsor. If they say that they're a 3 and they don't know, then the magic is you don't try to change their mind. You don't try to close them. We're not trying to teach you to be salespeople. All you say is, great, just tell me 3 people you think might like this and I'll give them the same option. No pressure for them. And you don't say anything else whatsoever. The reason that statement is so powerful and the reason that statement works is because Once you've said no pressure for them, you shut up. If you keep talking, you lose the moment. So you just shut up. In sales, we call it the silent close, and it's the absolute killer close. Just being quiet with people, because they don't know what to say, and eventually the only thing they can think of to say is they'll give you some names. So they give you those 3 names, and you contact them, and you give them the same options. No pressure whatsoever. We're not going to put anyone under pressure. But here's the good thing about this. The good news is the worst thing that can happen by explaining things this way is you end up with 3 new prospects. If you do it the right way, you could end up with a customer, in which case you'll make some money. You could end up with a distributor, which means you could potentially earn a lot of money. Or worst comes to worst, you just end up with 3 more people to replace the one that you've just lost. And the key is that you'll never, ever, ever run out of prospects. The reason most people fail in network marketing, and Simon Brooks will tell you from his 30 years of experience, is that they run out of people to talk to. Because they run in, they sort of blurt everything out, they tell their story badly, their friends turn around and say, don't talk to me about that again, and don't talk to me about anything else again, let's just concentrate on the game, beer, whatever it may be. And they just run out of people. And then they leave the business because they don't know who to talk to. This way, you never run out of people. And I loved it. And it was really, really simple. Now, Rick then, have I skipped a page? No. I might have skipped a page, but whatever. I've lost a page somewhere. Now, Rick did then tell us something that we didn't tell you last week. Because what Rick then told us was how you can do this with people who you don't see on a day-to-day basis. Handing these cards out, you need to be physically in front of people. But what happens if you know people who aren't physically close enough for you to go and see him? These days, we're all so connected on social media and everything else. We all have friends, and a lot of us these days have family that live overseas and everything else. The world is a much more mobile place than it was when Simon and I were a kid, when wheels were square and they hadn't knocked ground bits off yet, everything like that. People travel, people live all over the place, and you have family all over, but these days you still stay in touch with them because talking to people in different countries is cheap these days. Social media is easy. You don't have to pay ridiculous telephone bills like we used to do. So Rick's got an adaptation with his cards, which means that you can actually just use a simple e-card, an electronic version of the card. And as far as the e-card's concerned, if you haven't got an e-card, but you've already got your own cards, I'll tell you the simplest way for you to get your own e-card. What you do is you take your business card, you lay it down on the table and take a photograph of it, and you've got an e-card, because that's all it is. It's just an image. It's got exactly the same message and everything else. Now, this card will always work best with people that you know, but you don't necessarily have to know them well. But if you're going to reach out to people on social media that you haven't spoken to for the last 5 years, it never sounds quite true for you to just ring out and contact them out of the blue and say this with no contact whatsoever. So I would reach out and I'd have a little bit of basic chit chat. What's new? We haven't spoken for a while. What are you up to? And just spend a few minutes just getting a conversation going until eventually they turn around and say, what are you doing now? And then you do the same thing again. Now, once the ice has been broken, you want to send them the same kind of message, but you don't do it by text. Even if you're doing this on social media, if you're doing this on WhatsApp, if you're doing this on Messenger, if you're doing it even via text message, well, you don't do it by text message, you do it by voice message, but you literally send a recorded message. So Simon's told you many, many, many times, it's about your voice, it's about intonation. Yeah, it's your tone of voice carries so much more. So what you do is you get your phone up, let's just open my phone up, and once you open Messenger up and you go into the messages, and on the bottom there, I don't know whether you guys can see it or not, but on the bottom you've got a little microphone symbol. You press the microphone symbol and you speak. And all you do is you just say, "Hi mate, just wanted to drop you a quick message. I've just started this part-time business with a friend of mine. He's been in business for a long time. He's made a lot of money. So I've got a quick question. If I could show you a way that you could make a chunk of money in your spare time just using your phone and without selling anything, would you want me to tell you about it, or would you prefer if I kept it a secret?" I thought you'd be mad at me if I kept it quiet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send you a link. A lot of people are making a lot of money with this link. So just have a look at it. Tell me what you think, or just delete it if you're not interested. That's great, no problem. And send them the link. And the link is profitfromyourmobile.com. That's it. End of story. Reach out and send that out. And when they come back and say they want to know more, invite them onto the Zoom. Now, I told this to Femi on Sunday. And Femi said, "Okay, I'll do that." Femi, as you may be aware, Femi started with a bang. He ran around and he spoke to the world about it. He spoke to everyone he could think of. We had people coming all over the place. And he ran through everyone he could think of really, really quickly. Spoke to everybody and then ran out of things to say. And when he called me up, he said, "Look, there are some people that I've got that I know, but I haven't spoken to them for years." So I told him everything that I've just said to you right now. If you haven't spoken to them for a while, send them a message. Just say hello. Say, "I'm sorry I haven't been in touch for a while, but this has happened," and then send them this message as a voice message. See what happens. This morning he sent out, and Simon, you're not aware of this because since you and I spoke, I had another message from Femi, that he's actually sent out 38 messages today to people that he hasn't seen for the last 5 years. And to date, today alone, he's invited 12 people to come on tomorrow's Zoom.
Mm.
So following Simon's averages, that means a couple of them are going to turn up. Yeah. And that's the way the numbers work. And so, I'm sorry, guys, if that frightens anyone, if that disillusions people or disappoints them, people will let you down. All the time, people will let you down as far as this is concerned. It's about chucking big numbers at people. But the thing is, that entire message is completely inoffensive. No one can really be upset by that, can you? Because all along the line, all you said is, "Look, do you want me to shut up? Do you want me to keep it secret? Do you want me to keep quiet? Tell me about it, I'll stop talking." And you're getting permission for the next stage of the call, of the message, every step along the way. So because you're getting their permission, they're much more open-minded about it. And will they join? I don't know. Will everyone join? Definitely not. Absolutely flat out guaranteed. Everybody will not join. And we ran through some numbers with Rick last week, and we said, like, if you hand out 5 cards, will 5 people join? No. If you hand out 5 cards, will 1 person join? Maybe, but possibly not. What about if you hand 10 cards out? Maybe, maybe not. Still sort of a bit up in the air. If you hand out 20 cards, will 1 person join? Yeah, chances are if you hand 20 cards out, 1 person will join. So that means if you want to get your 3, so you're not paying your monthly subscription, you need to hand 60 cards out. But hand 60 cards out in the right way, with the right message, to people who are open-minded to look, and the chances are you will find your 3. But the reality of what 3 people means is find 3 people by doing that and then teach them to do the same. And by the time you've found 3 and taught 3 people to do the same, the company will now pay you $6,000 a year for as long as you stay in this business. So if you stay in this business for 10 years, they'll pay you $60,000. If you stay in this business for 20 years, they'll pay you $120,000 for handing out 60 cards and teaching 3 people how to hand out 60 cards. How many people think they can hand out 60 cards? I'll put my hand up. How many people think they can actually teach someone how to hand out 60 cards? It's not difficult, is it? That's the point. It's not difficult. So Once, if they do come back to you, once you've actually done that and they've sent it all over, they turn around and say, right, they've seen the video. What they come back to you and they say, what's it all about? If they've seen the video and you just sent them that message, then I put a little more stress on it again. And again, these are Rick's words, but Rick would say to you, if I can show you a way to create an income, and stress that word income, if I can create an income of $1.2 million over the next 20 years, that's $60,000 a month, a year. That's $1,200 a week. If I can teach you how to earn an income of $1.2 million over the next 20 years, would you like me to tell me about it, or would you like to keep it a secret? The bound to say, I want you to tell me about it. In that case, click the link and watch the video. It's going to take less than 10 minutes, then call me back. And just push people a little bit. You know, we don't have to twist people's arms up or anything else like that, but then when they call back, nice and simple, invite them onto tomorrow night Zoom. That's it. It's as it goes, it's really, really quite simple. And tomorrow night Zoom is going to be a little bit different. Is it not, Mr. Brooks?
It's going to be totally different.
So I'm going to let you talk for a bit whilst I have a cup of tea.
Okay. The most important thing, when I prospect people, and when I have people in my pipeline, and they turn around and say, what is it, what is it, what is it, what is it? I will always go to invite them onto the Wednesday Zoom, whether it be on Thursday, whether it be on Sunday, whether it be on Monday, whenever it's going to be. Why? Because I need them to know that there's a system. If I just go into them and say, oh, it's about financial fitness, oh, it's about building an organization, oh, it's about doing it, it's about making money from the products, it's about getting your money working for you rather than you working for your money. I then think, or they will then think, that's how they have to present it. And they'll be thinking, oh, this is way too complicated. When you invite them onto a Zoom and they're watching the Zoom, they're going, phew, that's easy. So what we've got to do is teach people not how to present, but how to invite. That's it. If you can be a professional inviter, you can make an obscene amount of money. Why do I say that? Because you then invite people after people after people after people onto the Zoom and let the professionals do the hard work. But when you invite them onto the Zoom, you turn around and say, okay, I've got a few links that I can offer you one. But if I give you one of these links and you watch the Zoom, you watch the presentation, can I please ask you a favor? Will you promise to call me back after you've seen it to let me know what you like best? Otherwise, you have to do all the chasing. Now, doing that, that will mean that you need to be on the Zoom yourself, just to double check to see if your prospects are actually on it. Now, let's assume your prospect isn't on it. What do? Do you wait for them to phone? Well, they're never going to phone because they wasn't on it. Do you phone them? Yes, you do. What do you say? You phone them up. Let's call them Mary. You see them and say, hi, Mary. It's Simon here. Just thought I'd give you a quick ring to see what you like best with the presentation. And you know they weren't on the presentation. So if they turn around, oh, I'm sorry, my neighbour's dog got run over, you can turn around and say, well, to be honest with you, there was just so many people on it, I just thought I lost you. They wouldn't know what it was like because they wasn't on it. So you just go down the road of what did you like best with it. Then if they turn around and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I couldn't get on, I was doing this, I was doing that, you then turn around and say, okay, would you like me to send you a copy of the recording? I don't know if there is going to be a recording, but if there is, would you like me to send it to you? Oh, that would be great. Now, I will only do this on one condition. When do you think you're going to be able to watch it? And now you want to play like a doctor or dentist and book them an appointment, knowing how long the presentation is going to go for. And tomorrow night, the presentation will be a lot slicker, a lot shorter, because the presentation is normally about 45 minutes. Tomorrow, it's going to be what? How long do you reckon you're going to try and get it for, Rog?
Half an hour.
30 minutes. Okay, so you turn around and say, okay, if I send this to you tomorrow, when do you think that you will be able to watch it? Oh, I can watch it tomorrow afternoon. What time is tomorrow afternoon? 3 or 4 o'clock? Oh, it'll be about 4 o'clock. Okay, I will send it to you just before 4 o'clock. Will you promise to give me a ring at 4:30 to let me know what you like best? Book them in. Let them know that, oh, you're so busy. I've got to be able to dedicate you some time to answer your questions once you've seen the presentation. Then they're going to be thinking, oh, right, shoot, this is a serious business. We can go down the road of Hillary, hope it happens, and think, oh, yeah, let's just send out hundreds and hundreds of the recordings. Do it that way, you're just trying to shoot fish in a barrel. It's like, that's a tough way to do it. But if you specifically go down a road with an individual, they will feel special and you will get really maximum effect out of the result. Anyway, back to you, Roger.
Okay. Hillary, hope it happens.
I haven't used that for years.
It's like, yeah, fair enough. Right, guys. So I want to talk to you about tomorrow's presentation because tomorrow's presentation is important to us. And I wanted to sort of tell you why we changed it. We were persuaded, was it a month, 6 weeks ago, to make a change. And we thought we'd made a good change. And we thought we'd made an exciting change when it came to what the presentation was and selling benefits and trying to really, really pile benefits on for people. But as much as we were excited by it, you never really know until you try something and test it. And we did it. We tried it. We tested it. We sponsored some people from it, but I don't think we sponsored any more people from that presentation than we did from the old presentation. Would you agree, Simon?
Correct.
Anyone else agree? Okay, I got a couple of nods. Thanks, daughter. So someone's paying attention. That's nice. So we got some feedback. Graham paying attention as well. I appreciate that. So we got some feedback, but it wasn't exciting. And the one thing was, like Simon said, it went on for too long. And these things, they have to be short and they've got to be punchy. But for the people with the system we've just been talking about, this business card system, Rick did this he did this first of all. I saw this 6 months ago when we saw him in Thornton Hall. And Simon Payne, did you see Rick do that then 6 months ago? Were you there on the day that he did that? Yeah. And it blew us away then. And I said last week, we have stepped away. We've tried complicating things. We've tried getting into like fancy high-tech ways of doing things. But really, going back to basic is just killer. And when I saw Rick doing that last week again, and Simon had prospects in the room, and the prospects that were in the room that came to see the business for the first time went away thinking, well, I can do that. Because not only had they seen something that they liked the looks of and they liked the presentation, but they also saw a method that they could do.
Roger, the prospect is on the call.
See? Where is it? Oh, he's hiding. He's not his camera switched on. Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty. Turn your camera on, mate.
Scotty, turn your camera on. Right, he's not got his camera on. I'm trying to unmute him. I can't unmute him. He's definitely hiding. Yeah.
Scotty was at the event, and
Scotty was at the event, and I asked Scotty last week about it as well. But he saw it, and the feedback from Scotty was, yes, I loved it, but I could see something that I could do, and because he could see something that he could do, he joined the business. And I thought, well, we've got to keep this short. We've got to keep this presentation short and punchy. And we had we had a target time. I wanted to stay under half an hour. And I did a dummy run with Simon over the weekend, and we got it down to 25 minutes. But we're going to tag a couple of minutes on because we need a couple of presentations on. When a couple of testimonials on presentations, a couple of testimonials on. I'm not going to do as many testimonials as we've done in the past because I'm going to stick to just a couple of testimonials so that people at least can see some real people doing it, but at least doing it this way. What we do is we keep it short and exciting for people, but then we show them a method. So when your new prospects look at this, they finish that call thinking, well, yeah, I can do that. I can give a card to each of my friends and just say, take a look at that, and it doesn't matter if you don't like it. We're not trying to twist anyone's arm up the back. We're not trying to ram it down the throat. We're not trying to turn you into some sort of religious cultist who tells everyone you must join, or otherwise we're going to steal your children, all that sort of rubbish. Yeah? This isn't Amway and all the other deals in the past that have just tried to turn people into obsessive freaks. Yeah? All we want to do is spread an opportunity to people and give them a chance to say no. And if someone takes no, take no for an answer. It's not like these guys who say don't take no for an answer. No, do take no for an answer. But when you take no for an answer, just give us the name of a couple of other people and we'll give them the same opportunity, because there are enough people that actually want to make some extra money. Why should you try to convince someone who doesn't want to, or someone who doesn't want to make money this way? Just look for the people who do. And it's been said millions and millions of times in network marketing. Our business isn't really about selling people, it's about sorting people. It's just about finding the people that want to do it. And the question really is, would you like to do it? No, great. Would you like to do it? No, great. Would you like to do it? Would you like? And just ask and ask and ask. That's all we're really asking you to do. So we've made it as simple as we can. So I want to go back to my slideshow for a second. And where were we? This one. And just finish off. So we've talked about tomorrow night Zoom, and we've frozen. This was what I wanted to do. So for tomorrow night Zoom, we decided if this is going to play, we try and liven it up a little bit and give you a bit of an intro. Can everyone hear that? No, they can't. I know they can't. I'm going to stop. And I'm going to start this share again, but this time I'm going to share this. And that and this. So we're going to start it, and when we start the presentation, we're actually going to start it with a video right at the beginning. Don't want that. You didn't see that. We never said that. Okay. What we do want to start with is this. Come on, play. Like an 80s nightclub all over again. I'm going to stop shooting that. So we made a little video for you to promote tomorrow night Zoom. So I'm going to put this into the Telegram group afterwards, so you can share that around, invite as many people as you can onto it. And we've actually managed to figure it out. And my computer, I've got so many programs open on my computer right now. Tomorrow it'll be fresh. And we'll actually start the presentation with that. So we started with a bit of life and give it a little bit of a lift as we get started. And that was just meant to be a little bit of a bit of fun. And the next thing that came up after that, and it sort of came up, I cocked up. Simon, did you see it in the Phoenix group when I sort of accidentally put the ad in?
Yeah.
Meant to be sending that to someone else. Well,
Yeah.
Simon said to me, shall we tell people about this before we've actually done? No, we don't tell anybody about this. They said, so well, shall we give people a hint? And so I said, to give people a hint, but we're only talking about giving you a hint. And then I went and cocked up and put the advert into the Telegram group. So that advert was meant to go out to someone else. But how many people have seen the advert? Oh, there's lots of hands going up now. Okay, right. Okay, so the advert reads well. Let's have a quick peek at it. Simon loved the advert when he saw it, didn't you?
I did. But I've been into advertising for 30 years. Yeah.
And having been into advertising for 30 years, Simon's reaction to it was, yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Because it says, in huge letters, it says, finally, an easy way to recruit people into your MLM business online, rejection-free, without wasting your time and money chasing deadbeat prospects and leads. Click here. How many people think that people would click on that if you were to place that somewhere? Yep, that's what we've been working on. Now, Simon and I, we've been telling you for weeks that we've been working on a prospecting system. We've had people trying to develop something from the ground up for us, and they're just dragging their heels, and it's just not working. They're not giving us what we want as quickly as we want it. We were promised something in March, then we were promised February, then we were promised, March, then we were promised May. We should have had it ready to launch for the last event, and now they're talking maybe the next event, and we're saying, well, to hell with you, bye-bye. So we found something else, and I am testing it right now. And I've said to you before, and Simon will do the same thing, we will not turn around and tell you guys that you should put your money into something that isn't tested. So I'll test it, Simon will test it, we'll put our own money into it, and we'll test it and make sure it works. But we are extremely excited at what we've seen. And what we've seen is a prospecting system where you place the advert that you've all now seen, the now famous advert, and a bunch of other adverts like it, not just that one, there is a choice of them, a bunch of different adverts that are similar. So you're not all placing the same, because again, there's nothing worse than every one of us placing the same advert. That's horrible. And again, Simon and I will tell you that if we go back 30 years ago, there was a time when we did our advertising in the Sunday papers. We used to write a little simple lineage ad in the Sunday papers, and every weekend people on Sunday would start looking for a way to make some extra money. They'd scan through the Sunday Times and things like that, and they'd phone up and they'd say, I just saw your advert. And we recruited boatloads of people about it, but after a while, all the new people that we brought on were doing the same thing as us. And eventually the phone calls changed, the message changed, because instead of saying, I've seen your advert, people said, is it lifestyles? So I've just spoken to 6 other people and they all said it's lifestyles. So we know what it's like if you all have the same. So we're not going to give you the same thing. There will be lots and lots of different choices. Yeah. But what we will give you is a system that you place an advert, your prospect will go across, your prospect will see a video, your prospect will be given some free training. You don't have to do the training. We're doing that for you. Yeah. You may have to, the prospect may get some free information, a free booklet or that can help them, something that will incentivize them to put their name and telephone number in, and whatever it is, you don't have to do anything about it. We'll do it for you. We've created the system for you. And once they do that, they're then offered something for them to buy.
Before we go any further, Roger, can I just ask everybody, if everybody's on this Zoom, can you just switch your camera on? Because I need a wave of hand with the question I'm going to ask. So let's just get people's cameras on. Here we go. Cheers, Tony. Anybody else's camera? Okay. In my 31-year career, as you know, I've been around, I've come across people who have all thought the hardest, strongest disadvantage they have is prospecting. Now, wave it if you agree with that. If you think prospecting is the hardest part of the business, just wave. Okay, so the majority of it. Why is that the case? Because most people have got a small amount of friends, and most people don't want to approach their friends. So if we take that away and we put a system that anybody and everybody can use. Now, bearing in mind, this system, we know there's some top social media people that use this system. And that's how they get their people by the thousands to join it. So if we could actually get a system and prove it works, hands up who would be interested and excited to know about it. Okay, great. Okay, well, we will get this perfected. We will get it organized, and then we might not actually do it on a Zoom. We might launch it on the 15th, which is going to be the 15th of September. That's going to give us enough time to perfect it, promote it, and everything else, and actually launch it, because we will need to launch it to you physically. Okay, so if you haven't booked, you've got a few days left at the early bird price to get your tickets booked for the 15th of September. Make sure you're there, because this event will be rocking, absolutely rocking. Roger, back to you.
I'll tell you now, guys, that for what we're testing, I plan on having proof in the room for you. So the proof will be that when we do introduce the system, I will turn around and say, can anyone who joined because they've seen the system, please stand up, and we'll have the proof in the room for you. So we won't just tell you that it works, we'll prove it right there and then on the spot.
Now, I do know that we've got Princeton, who's in Nigeria. We've got Merrily, who's in America. We have Blackbeard, who's in Australia.
Yeah, we have Graham and Jackie, who are both in South Africa.
Yeah.
So you're all going to have to buy plane tickets, guys.
Yeah. we will accommodate you. So if it means we just do you a private showing after we've tested it, after we've got the results, after the event, then fine. But do not feel as though you're going to be left out. You will not be left out.
But this system is it is an absolute killer system. I absolutely love it. It has everything attached to it. The one big disadvantage of most of the systems that I've seen has been the monthly costs on them. And this system doesn't come with a monthly cost. Has a one-off cost to buy it, yeah, but it's a modest one-off cost to buy it, but it doesn't have a monthly cost to buy it. And it then actually, if we're going to advertise, and you saw one of the advertisements by accident, if we're going to advertise it, it costs money to place adverts. The beauty of this system is that within the system, it provides you with something that you can sell, and you get paid a commission for selling it, and the commission will pay for your advertisements. Now, if your commission can pay for your advertisements, how often will you run your advertisements? And if anyone says anything less than every day, you want your head testing. Because if your adverts are free, if your advertisements are actually going to make you profits, well, you're just going to do it. End of story, aren't you? And your prospects will actually come as a byproduct of the advert. Why is Simon Payne kissing his computer? Oh, I see.
And don't forget, guys, this is the digital process. So you're not buying a product physically. You're not going to have to ship it, wrap it, and everything else, or store it. This is digital. So
I promise you, this is what, and words I use with Simon today, this is a 100% done for you process. And in the worlds of marketing, and you guys know that I've been in marketing, not just network marketing, but in marketing in general for decades, done for you is the buzzword of the 21st century. Done for you solutions are what it's all about. This is done for you. You won't have to do anything. We'll do it all. We'll set everything up. You just go for it. See, Dora's doing the dance already. She hasn't even seen the email. She doesn't know what the dance means yet.
Oh, daughter, you are going to be so excited. Question: are you girls flying over from Denmark?
Are you coming over for the 15th?
Yes, of course I will be there.
Silly question. Here's, guys.
You heard the bar was still open. She's going to come.
Just off track. These Great Danes, these Danish girls, are so committed. They are amazing. They come to every single event. Now, I will tell you now, secretly, for the cocktail party on the 14th will be my wife's birthday.
Ah,
So,
how nice.
we could play a game. No, I'm not saying that to be.
You don't.
I was saying to Roger today in cello, let's play a game. Let's see if people can guess how old she is. And then cello came out with a number, and I could have sacked him.
He would die.
I would have sacked him. She would have killed him.
Cello says that number, just instant death.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
That was a bad number.
She will.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she will kill you, bloody hell. But yeah, so that will be a special evening that we can do something in order and have some fun.
Yeah.
We've had a bit of fun tonight. We've shown you the important thing. As ever, this is recorded. I will have a PDF of the slides that we showed before. So the PDF of the slides will give you the scripts that you need for handing these cards out. For Jackie, you're brand new to the business today. Welcome aboard. Nice seeing you. It's not the first time you and I have spoken, but nice seeing you here. Graham will tell you how to get hold of the business cards. If you want some of those business cards to hand them out, he'll tell you exactly how to get hold of them, and we'll make sure that we can get you started with those. And once we've got those things nailed down for you, then you just get going. We've had some fun. The scripts will come over so you can use them. As ever, if you need us, you know where we are. The telephone calls are, the Zoom lines are available for us. The Zoom call tomorrow is available for us. I've got messages coming through my phone like nothing else on earth, and I'm being distracted.
Simon Payne, she will love you. He's just gone down. He's just put a number in.
He's not done the 21, has he?
No, well, double it, and you're close.
All right.
Yeah. So she's going to be in love with you, Simon.
I've got to be honest with you, so much better than he said.
If you want to get round it, that's the smart way to do it.
Yeah, that's it. That'll do it. Yeah. I'd still have stuck with 21. I'd have said safe. You know.
Can I just ask a question while we're all on it? Nicole, you're in Australia. What time is it in Australia? You're muted. You got to unmute yourself.
Where's Nicole? Oh, there she is. Oh, it's silly o'clock.
I live in Belgium, Simon.
Oh, Belgium. Sorry, I think you was a Nicole from Australia.
No, different Nicole. Different Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. How you doing?
Hi.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, but when you said Australia, I'm thinking like it's got to be like 4 a.m., hasn't it?
I know. Well, hold on. We have got somebody from Australia. Where is he?
Blackbeard, you said. Who's Blackbeard?
Blackbeard is under Chris.
Okay, Blackbeard's unmuted. Blackbeard, give me a real name, please.
Pat Estel.
Pat.
Yes.
Blackbeard is Pat.
Oh, Pat.
Screwed that up as well, didn't you, Brooks?
Yeah, didn't I, Jeff? Well, I was thinking this is a guy who's in Australia called Blackbeard, and he calls himself Blackbeard. Bloody hell. Christ, Pat, that's twice in one day. Getting a little bit like common. Oh, my word. Yeah.
Right. You're thinking of, I know who you're thinking of. I can't remember his name now. He messages me all the time, but yeah, he does come onto these sometimes, and it's usually about 5 a.m. where he is when he comes on. I think Nicole's in Adelaide, and I think it's either 4 or 4:30 a.m. in Adelaide at the moment. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, let's do another camera thing. What I'd like you to do,
Sydney.
I think it's a matter for the people of North London.
5 years.
Yeah, that's Jamie's TV. We can hear.
Well, I'll be down in a few minutes.
Okay. Can everybody switch their camera on and wave your hand if you're coming to the 15th of the event on the 15th? Wave your hand. I know Angela booked her tickets.
Yeah, I'll do that when I come down.
Right. Okay. So we got a few people. Yeah, Cello and everybody else. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Okay. It will be more recruitment based than anything else. So make sure.
This is what Rick told us last week. We're going to go back to basics.
Yep.
Build the
We are
team.
in network marketing. We're not in network marketing.
Down to building a team, guys, because that's what made Rick a multimillionaire. That's what made Simon a multimillionaire. Who else wants to join the club?
Yeah. So
Nobody else? Well, there's a couple.
it's about going to work, guys. We're going to have some fun. And
All right, guys.
if you want to stay overnight at the hotel, Fraser, if any of you know Fraser, my son, he wants to book an event for his business, and he was looking at the Mercure, and he couldn't believe the price we was getting the accommodation for. He phoned up to see if he could get accommodation. He said he couldn't get anywhere near it. So I said, well, it's not what you know, so you know. There you go. But yeah, so it's £60 for a double room. If you want to share, then you can just book a twin room, and it's only going to cost you £30 a person. And obviously, there you go. We get a special rate for a 2-course meal on the Saturday night, which is only 15 quid. So yeah, make a weekend of it, but don't forget, it's all tax deductible. It's a business expense.
And if anyone has a sexy female cousin who wants to share, just give me a shout. No, I didn't say that, did I?
No, you shouldn't say that. You should not say that.
All right, guys, that's it. So tomorrow night, get everybody on the call tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's call will be shorter, punchy, exciting. Get people on it, and we're going to have some fun with it.
It would be nice to have your opinion of what you think of the call tomorrow.
Yeah, I really would like to hear, after the call, like everyone to tell us what you think of it.
Yeah. Do it on Telegram, then everybody can see. Now, whether you think it's crap, you can put in crap. If you think it's great, you can put in great. Yeah. So let us know.
If you put crap, I do know where you live. No.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
Roger?
Yes,
Roger?
daughter.
I have noticed the last couple of times when I've attended the Wednesday meeting, and the text is a little bit blurry. It's not very sharp. Is it my computer, or is it something different with when you put it up?
It isn't anything different with the way I've put it up.
Okay, it's a little bit. It's not sharp.
Okay, no, it's nothing to do with the way I've put it up, and tomorrow night's presentation won't be any different. I've tried to keep the pages clear, and I tried to make sure that I don't put too much text on each page. Yeah. So have another look, but if you can try it with a different device, or maybe even if you look at the recording, or look at the recording on your phone.
Yeah. I can try that.
And see if the recording on your phone looks any different, because it's the same presentation, and that will tell you whether it's your computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow, everybody.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.